So our lecture number 1 we studied about up to the taste of testes. Now we are starting with the accessory duct. That is the second part of reproductive system. So accessory duct, this accessory duct include the different type of ducts which are the part of male reproductive system. This accessory duct includes retestes. These are the small network of tubules, and the second one is the vasa differentia. Vasa differentia, there are 12 to 20 fine tubules arise from the rete testis. So first of all, we'll see what is rete testis. So it is the network of very small tubules. So from this diagram it will get clear that inside the testis the seminiferous tubules are there. Then the seminiferous tubules lead into the very fine network of rete testis, okay, and then rete testis then lead into the 12 to 20 fine tubules. That tubules are called vasa efferentia. So here the rete testes are shown. So the seminiferous tubule lead into the fine network of branches, that is called rete testes, and this rete testes then develop then get leads into the small tubules, which is shown by this very big arrow, and that is called vasa efferentia. So these are the 12 to 20 tubules, fine tubules, they are called vasa efferentia. Then the next one is epididymis. Epididymis, it is a long about 6 meters or 20 feet in length, and it is highly coiled tube. Epididymis, it get differentiated into the three type of regions, that is the caput epididymis, cauda epididymis, and the corpus epididymis. So let's see in this diagram. So particularly in this diagram also shown that the epididymis is the first one is a caput epididymis. Caput is a cap-like epididymis which is present at the head region. That is the caput epididymis. Then the next one is a cauda epididymis. Cauda means is a like a tail portion. Okay, so it is present at the lower side. That is a cauda epididymis, and the middle epididymis is a corpus epididymis. So these are the three portions of this epididymis: upper caput, middle corpus, and the lower cauda epididymis. So these three different type of not actually the type, these are the regions of the epididymis. Okay, the sperm undergo the maturation. Now what is the function of this epididymis? In this epididymis, whatever the sperm which is get formed in the seminiferous tubule, that sperm enter into the epididymis, and in this epididymis this sperm undergo the maturation. Maturation means they develop the ability to swim and fertilized in the epididymis. Okay, then the fourth type of duct is vas deferens. So what is this vas deferens? Vas deferens is a tube which is travel up to the abdomen cavity and loop over the ureter and open into the urethra. So this tube which is shown in the red, that tube is vas deferens. From this diagram it is also clear that from this epididymis, body of epididymis or the tail of epididymis, the tube which is that tube leads into the vas deferens. Okay, so the tail of epididymis, that means the cauda epididymis, lead into the next tube, and that tube is called vas deferens. So this tube is what? Is a vas deferens. Okay, so the tube which is shown over here, same, that is a vas deferens, is red in color. So this vas deferens, it is travel up to the abdominal cavity, that means it is enters into the abdominal cavity, it loop over the ureter and open into the urethra. Then the next one is, fifth one is ejaculatory duct. The ejaculatory duct passes through the prostate gland and open into the urethra. So ejaculatory duct is a separate duct. Okay. So this duct pass through the prostate gland and open into the urethra. So ejaculatory duct arise from the prostate gland and they separately open into the urethra. Okay, so both this duct, vas deferens and the ejaculatory duct, open into the urethra. Now urethra, what is actually the urethra? It is also called a urinogenital duct. In male, it's a urinogenital duct, means this is the duct which carry out both function. Through this duct the urine get passed, and through this duct the semen also get ejaculated out. Okay, so it is called urinogenital duct. It serves both function. In male, it is long about 20 centimeter or 7 to 8 inches, and it is extend through the penis. Okay, so this urethra, it just pass through the penis and it opens outside by an opening called urethral orifice, or it is also called as a urethromeatus. Okay, so these are the different ducts, round about 6 ducts we studied over here. So first one is retatestes. These are the small tubules arise from the seminiferous tubules. They lead into the vasa differentia. Vasa differentia lead into the epididymis. Okay, epididymis lead into the vasa deferens, and vas deferens open into the urethra. Ejaculatory duct is a separate duct which arises from the prostate and it open into the urethra, and urethra is a very small duct which is around about 20 centimeter and it's open outside through an opening called urethral orifice. Okay, now the next one is the glands. So seminal vesicles. So there are different glands are there. These glands are, first of all, going to have a look on the gland. Seminal vesicles, then the prostate gland and the Cowper's gland. Cowper's gland also called as a bulbourethral glands. So these three glands are there. First one is the seminal vesicle. So in this diagram it's shown that seminal vesicle. So this duct is seminal vesicle, is a pair of duct. Then next one is a prostate gland. So this gland is prostate gland, and the third one is the bulbourethral gland, that is called the Cowper's gland also. Okay, so these three glands are there. Seminal vesicles, now we are going to study one by one. So seminal vesicle, it secrete an alkaline seminal fluid which contains fructose, fibrinogen and prostaglandins. So the main function of seminal vesicle is the secretion of seminal fluid. The fluid, this fluid which contribute into the formation of semen. Okay, so it secrete alkaline seminal fluid which contain fructose, fibrinogen and prostaglandin, and it contribute about 60% of total volume of semen. So total volume of semen, so in this total volume, the 60% of volume of semen is formed of the seminal fluid. So large amount of fluid or the seminal fluid which is get formed by the seminal vesicle. Then the prostate gland. It releases a milky white and slightly acidic prostatic fluid into the urethra, and it form about 30% of volume of semen. Okay, so the 30% of semen is form of the secretion secreted by the prostate gland. that is the milky white secretion secreted by the prostate gland, which is slightly acidic. Okay, so this prostatic fluid is about 30% in the semen. Then what it contains? It contains citric acid, then acid phosphatase, and various other enzymes. It contains citric acid, acid phosphatase, and various other enzymes. Now the next gland is the corpus gland. Corpus gland is also called as a bulbourethral gland. These glands secrete an alkaline viscous mucus-like fluid which act as a lubricant during the copulation. So during the copulation, or copulation means intercourse. Okay. So during the intercourse, whatever the mucus like secretion which is gets secreted, that secretion gets secreted by the corpus gland. So that is the alkaline secretion which is viscous and the mucus like fluid. So these are the gland and which carry very important function of formation of semen, that is the seminal vesicle, prostate gland and the corpus gland. Then the next one is the semen. Semen is also called as a seminal plasma. Semen is a fluid which comes out during the ejaculation. Okay. So it is a viscous, alkaline and milky fluid. Its pH is 7.2 to 7.7. So it is slightly alkaline. It is viscous, alkaline and the milky fluid. Normally 2.5 to 40 ml of semen is given out during a single ejaculation. So during the single ejaculation, ejaculation means this is the process by which the semen comes out through the penis, that is ejaculation. So during one ejaculation, normally 2.5 to 4 ml of semen is given out, and it contains about 400 million sperms. So during one ejaculation, round about 4 ml of semen contains about 400 millions of sperm, and it contains secretion of epididymis and the accessory glands. Then the next one or the last one is the external genitalia. External genitalia is first one is the penis. It is male copulatory organ. It is cylindrical, muscular, made up of bundle of erectile tissue. So it is the copulatory organ which used for copulation, and it is cylindrical and it's made up of it is muscular organ and it's made up of a bundle of erectile tissues, and these tissues are corpora cavernosa and corpora spongiosum. So in this diagram it is shown the corpora spongiosum, these are the tissues, and corpora cavimosum. Okay, so these are the erectile tissues. The swollen tip of penis is called as a gland penis. So this is what a swollen tip of penis, and this is called as what? It is called as a tip of penis is called as a glans penis, and it covered by the fold of skin, and it is called as a foreskin. Okay. Then the next one is the scrotum. Scrotum is a pouch where the testes are very well protected. Okay, so it is a loose pouch of pigmented skin, little bit a darker skin. The fetal testes remains attached to the scrotum by a muscular band called as a gubernaculum. So through this gubernaculum, the fetal testes remains attached with the scrotum. The testes remain suspended in the scrotum by a spermatic cord. So how this testes is suspended in this pouch? testes suspended in the scrotum or in this pouch by means of spermatic cord. So these testes are attached with the spermatic cord and they remain suspended in the scrotum. So as I said earlier, in the fetal condition, the testes are get formed into the abdominal cavity, and later on they get descend into the scrotal sac through the inguinal canal. Then the failure of testes to descend into the scrotum is called as a cryptorchidism. So what is this cryptorchidism? Cryptorchidism is a failure of descent into the descent of testes into the scrotum. So during this, maybe at the time of birth, these testes they fell to enter into the scrotum. Okay, and that condition is called as a cryptorchidism and result in the sterility. That means that male are unable to produce sperms. So it leads to the sterility, because the formation of sperm requires a little bit less temperature. In this less temperature, only the sperm gets survive, and that's why our testes get descend into the scrotal sac, because the temperature of testes is remains 2 to 3 degrees Celsius lower than the normal body temperature in the scrotum. Okay, and which is necessary for the spermatogenesis. So formation of sperm, it requires a little bit less temperature than the body temperature. So cryptorchidism is shown in this diagram. So it is all about the male reproductive system. So we completed with the male reproductive system. In our next lecture, we are going to start with the female reproductive system. So thank you so much.